Hi guys, and welcome to episode 4 of Apex Angling. Now we're here today at Tanyard Fisheries for a 5-day session, midweek session.
Yeah, decided to start off on especially late one today, after speaking to the bailiff and doing some research online. Speaking to a few of the other anglers as well, we realised that this is the lake we're most likely to catch on in the early stages anyhow. What kind of tactics are we going to go with?
Well, I think the initial plan is to fish here for maybe the first 2 or 3 days, see if we can get some decent fish in the bank for you, and if they were successful with that, then move on to probably especially lake 2, which has got the bigger fish up to 38 pounds for the later part of the week.
Yeah, still a few 30s in here that we know of, and there's at least I think 20 known 20s. So yeah. the fish are in there. We've had a walk around, done a little recce, and realised that the fish are there. We can see them. They're not too active at the moment, but hopefully once we've introduced some bait, we should be able to sort that out. Definitely. So we're just going to crack on with it now, get all set up, and yeah, tune in soon.
Nice one. Right, hi there. We're just going to take you through the mix that we're going to be using over the couple of days. We're actually going to be making up 3 separate versions of this. This is for a simple fact that we're using 3 different types of boilies. The boilie we're using in this mix is the new FM boilie. This is new from Mistral for 2012. I think it looks great, so Matt agrees as well, so we're going to give this one a go. To start with, first ingredient is hemp. Already got a hemp there, we've got a kilo of hemp sitting in there. I like to dry that hemp out fairly quickly, so we're going to start with a stick mix from Mistral, the natural stick mix.
Yeah, they do a ground bait as well, so you could be putting ground bait in here. It just happens that we've got stick mix with us. Does a similar job. I've actually used this as a stick mix in some PVA sticks that I've put out with both of mine. Yeah, just to give it a nice consistency. It's quite nutty.
We've got a lot of different sized food items in here as well, different breakdown rates, etc. Really good to make up that mix, and instantly this mix is already looking a lot better.
So next we're just going to add some sweet corn. Bought this frozen from Sainsbury's, £1.50 a bag, something like that. I'm going to probably put in, I've got a kilo there, so I'm going to probably put in a quarter or so. Don't want to put too much, don't want too much colour in there, but we know that sweet corn works well on these lakes, so let's hope this does the job for us. So 3.5 handfuls going in there.
Alright, next we're going to add in the pellets. Matt, do you want to open them? Because you're better at this.
Yep.
Matt's better opening the bags than I am. There we go, look at that first time. We're going to put a whole kilo of pellets in as well.
Yeah, the good thing about these Mistral baits as well is that they're all resealable. A lot of bait companies, you tend to open them and you're always stuck, kind of have to use them all up, but obviously these are resealable, which is good stuff for us. We're here for 5 days, so we can seal them back up, no worries. So this is what, kilo bag?
Yeah, this is the natural flavour. They also come, you can match them to the boilies as well. I think rosehip might be the only other flavour they do at the moment.
Yeah.
So when you're using the rosehip isotonic boilies, you can get rosehip pellets, which we've got some in the bag as well.
So I'm going to put in, we're going to put in probably half a bag, probably just over half a bag into there like so. Lovely stuff.
Right, next is the boilies. Like I said, we're using the FM boilies, new for 2012. We're probably going to put in about, I'd say, a quarter of a kilo of whole boilies, and then probably the same again, crushed up in the crusher.
They smell quite fishy, they're not too strong, not as strong as the vampire squid that Mistral do, but they certainly do smell fishy, which is good because we're hoping to catch some fish.
Yeah. So in they go.
Probably going to put in 3 handfuls of whole boilies, and I got a quarter crusher with me as well. This one here, so I'm just going to pop them straight in.
The good thing about these FM boilies is they've got quite a washed out look to them already. So I'm sure you all have heard of the technique of washing out your boilies before you apply them. It makes them seem a bit safer to the carp, makes them seem like they've been sitting in the water already. Now these boilies pretty much come with that look already, so it's a good boilie to instantly impact the water. They're really they're the highest grade boilie that Mistral do. I think they're excellent. I'm really looking forward to using these.
Yeah, we've used the I40s before, which are in their advanced range as well, which have done the trick previous months. So these are new for 2012, like Chris said. So why not whack them in there?
Well, one more crusher full, so to speak. That should be fine.
Trying to stick along the same theme as well. So obviously we've got the FM boilies in there, the natural mix pellets, stick mix.
We've got the FM spod and stick juice as well. So we're obviously matching our boilies to the juice that we're using.
This is PVA friendly as well, which is great. So you got a stick, you just tied it up, literally stick it straight in.
We've used about half the bottle there. This is a big mix, it will last us a day or two. And I'm just going to put that in instantly. The smells come from this. I always think that the liquids that you add at the end of the mix really just bring it together. Give that a good stir. Now, talk to the bailiff. He says to use this little and often, so that's just what we're going to do. So I'll give you a close up of the mix in a second, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Nice one.
Right, well, it's about 7 o'clock now. Been absolutely badgered by the birds all day, the ducks.
I reckon about 80% of what we showed you earlier, that mix, is sitting in ducks' bellies right now.
Yeah.
Every time we go out and put some out, we're just baiting up by hand at the moment in the margins, and sure enough, 20 seconds later, about 15 ducks come over and absolutely wipe us out.
Yeah, we're just waiting for them to go away at the moment. They seem to have buggered off for a little bit. Once, basically, we've reeled in, put new stick mixes on, got our bait sorted for the night. I've got double Enterprise pop-up corn in like a peachy flavour over near the reeds, which we'll show you in a moment, and I've also got one on the rose hip tipped with a fake maggot. Again, just a stick mix, and we've been putting boilies out, probably put about 50 or so boilies on each.
Yeah.
Now the ducks have gone, we're going to put a spod mix on. So
yeah, I'm quite similar to Matt actually. The bailiff did say that double corn was doing well, so literally, I'm not joking, a foot away from the bank and a foot to the right of my rods. It's just the end of a little bit of weed growth, and I've just got tucked down there double pop-up corn with a shot and a bit of a putty on it to keep it about that far off the floor, with that mix we showed you earlier, just loose fed around that. And then on my left rod, over by the lilies, I've got an FM boilie with a fake maggot on top, again glugged from Enterprise, and the boilie from Mistral. We're quite confident that we should get something.
yeah, the lake's U-shaped, like a horseshoe. After speaking to the bailiff, apparently they tend to come out of here of a night time. Not all of them, but kind of they've got to go through this channel, and that's where I've got a rod. So fingers crossed it should do the job. But we're here for 5 days, it's early days yet. We didn't get our rods in until about 1 o'clock. So we've only actually had about 5 hours of fishing, and on a specie day we didn't expect to have anything by now anyhow. But we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Once the ducks bugger off, going to get a lot of bait out there, sit on a nice bed of bait, and fingers crossed we should have something soon.
Yeah, hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Nice one.
Right guys, well it's the second day now. Obviously we didn't have anything last night. Chatting to the bailiff before we came, he did say he's been fishing very tough for the past week or two, but no excuses. And you might notice we've actually moved now.
Yeah, this lake is horseshoe shaped. We were on the other half last night, didn't have a thing. One of the bailiffs fished a little bit further up from us, and he had 18, I think.
Yeah, 18.
18 pound carp, which was lovely. Which shows they were around there, but just not in the channel that we were in, which is a bit of a shame. So we've up sticks, moved over here this morning. It absolutely chucked it down with rain, so we had quite a comical experience, to say the least. Everything got soaked. It's just drying off now, but we just thought we'd do a bit of filming while the rain eased up.
It's about 3 o'clock now. We've literally only had the rods in for about an hour. When we moved, it was just the mercy of the weather, which everything went in the bivvy, and we sat there holding the bivvy up ourselves, trying to keep dry.
Yeah.
I'm more confident in our spots this time. I've seen more fish around here. There's a couple showing. We're both in decent points, and just hopefully get one out really.
We're both on lily pads, both tight on pads. I did have one out on boilie earlier on the left hand side there, just with a vampire squid boilie. But I'm going to rest the swim now. I'm going to put the rod back in there. I've tied up a really short hook length, what I'll show you in a moment, that I'm going to fish tonight. I've already been putting some bait over there, just say half a kilo or so of vampire squid. And I've also put a zig rig out, one of the little Nash zig bugs I've popped out, a little yellow and black one. We can see them like bubbling near the surface. So I've put it, it's about 4 foot where I am at the moment. It's only about 3 meters out or so. So I've only put it to about 2.5, 3 foot. Just gonna hope for the best. I've plugged it in some FM spod mix, so fingers crossed something should happen, but as you know with fishing, it's always a waiting game and there's only so much you can do.
Definitely. Well, hopefully we'll see you soon with nice fish in our hands, and when we do, we'll show you the rigs we caught. Nice one.
Right, as you know, we haven't had too much luck, or any luck at all since we've been here. However, I'm just going to show you some of the techniques we're using, one of which is a solid Pva bag. We've just switched over to spicy pepperami, as we just mentioned. Just going to show you how to tie it up, very simple. So you have a nice solid bag, and it's really aerodynamic and easy to cast. Need a few components for these. First of all, you need a good quality bait that you're going to be putting in your bag. So for this, we're going to be putting in the Mistral Natural Stick Mix. Really nice nutty smell, a lot of seeds, bits and bobs in there. Just a really good attractant. Not too smelly, but smelly enough. That's what we want. Right, for this we're going to be using the small bags that Corda do. Small PVA bag. If I can open the things. And just make sure at every moment that you haven't got anything that is wet, whether that be wet hands, a wet rig, anything at all. So basically what I'm going to start off with is, obviously this is the rig we've got. This is Chris's rig that I'm going to be doing for you here. As you can see, it's quite a short hook link going down, as you can see there. Just out of the way, because ideally I don't want the hook link too long, because otherwise it's susceptible to tangles whilst it's in the bag and it dissolves. So all I'm going to do with that, I've already dried it off to make sure it's good. And onto that I'm going to put some spicy pepperami. Buy at any supermarket. Probably had it at lunchbox when you were kids. I still have it in my lunchbox now. Find my knife. I'm going to cut off about that much there, which is about 2/3 of an inch, so a couple of centimetres there. Just going to pop it onto my baiting needle, lengthways, and I'm just going to feed it onto my hair there. If I can find the hole. Like so. We'll leave it a little bit back over. Feed it onto your hair. Put it right down to a hook, so you've still got a bit of play there. All I'm going to do now is I want to try and, basically the weight of the pepperami is quite heavy, so we want something that's not going to pull it up, but it's going to make it a bit more balanced in the water, something a bit different than fish aren't used to. So for that, I'm going to use a super buoyant 8mm pop-ups made by Mistral. Come in a variety of colours there. For this one, Chris has asked me to put a white one on it. I put a pink one on mine earlier just so it fits in a little bit more of what we've got. Grab the white one out there. Again, straight onto your bait needle, make sure your little lever's back. Feed it through. And straight onto your hair again. Snick it on, lever back over, and pull it down. All I'm going to need to do is put a hair stop on. For this we're using the Corda hair stops. I don't know if you can see that close up to the camera. They're like a V shape, and they sink back into the boiler, which is good. So they really hide well. I was thinking of a better word there, but I couldn't think of it. So I'm going to feed that on there like so. Pull it back through so it's nice and flat. Pull the bait out. So you've got something that looks like that at the moment. It's nice and close to the hook. Some people like a long hair. Personally, I quite like it within 5mm or so of the top of the hook. Just because I think that if the fish does pick it up, you've got more chances of spitting it straight back out, ejecting the hook, ejecting the rig, catching it right in the bottom of the middle lip. So that's so. What I'm going to do now is get my PVA bag. I'm going to fill it up a couple of centimetres or so with the stick mix. Like I said before, this is the Mistral stick mix, the natural one. About that much, so not too much, probably just under 1/3 there, about 1/4 I'd say, of the bag. Now you want to tap this down so it's nice and solid, not too hard, because we'll come to that bit in a moment. All I'm going to do now is, first of all, I'm going to drop, we use a lead clip arrangement. I don't know what you guys use, but we think, especially when weedy waters like this, it's one of the safest things to use. So you can eject the lead straight away should you have a run. So I'm just going to dump the lead straight in there, followed by the lead clip itself, and I'm going to make sure that it's laying nice and flat. It is a bit fiddly this, so I warn you now. So it's sitting nice and flat in there, like so. So you can see that. like I say, these are fiddly, and the larger bags you use the better. However, we like the nice compact small bags, which is why we're using these. So if you notice there, I've got the hook bait hanging outside of the bag there. So all I'm going to do now is add some more stick mix to the bag and just cover up that lead. Because what we want is for this bait to be sitting at the top of the bag. So as you can see, like so. And all I'm going to do now, if I can get my hands out of the way, is drop this into the bag and make sure that there are no tangles in the line. That was a little beep from my zig rig, but I think it's my Delkin's being too sensitive. So all I'm going to do now is sitting in a nice like so. I'm going to fill it up. Not all the way to the top, probably about that. But all I'm going to do now is pinch the top, twist down and start to tap. Now by tapping you're compressing the stick mix in there. So in doing so you're making a really solid PVA bag that's going to cast like a dream. Okay, so every time you pat it down, give it an extra twist. Pat it down like so. Now I'm going to put a little bit more in this to really get the fish feed in. Like so. So you want to leave yourself a couple of centimetres or so at the top. So you're going to be able to tie it up with your PVA tape. So again, just going to twist it and tap. And in doing so, like I said, it's just compressing it all together. Make it into one sturdy solid bag. Try not to keep any air in there. If you've got any air bubbles in there, just let go at the top, flatten it down, start again. Well, don't start all the way again, but start compressing again. So you can see that is really tight at the moment. Okay, so all I'm going to do now, I was pinching that with one hand. Ideally I should have cut some of this off earlier, but tie far too many of these bags up, and my PVA tape has been wet at some point, which is great. All I'm going to do, take off about that much, snip it with the scissors, don't need the tape anymore. I'm just going to tie the top of the bag up, like so. Some people you'll see, or you might like to do it yourself, is a method where you just lick your fingers and kind of stick the top. I'm a bit anal like this, so I like to tie it up with PVA tape just to make sure it's spot on there. Just going to snip it with the scissors, and there we go. Okay, so now all I'm going to do with that is I'm going to snip the excess around the top. I've got some tubing on here at the moment, or Chris should I say, but be careful when you've got the line, because it has been known, I've done it myself, when you cut in all nice and neatly, you've tied your bag up and then you snip through your line. It's not what you want, and you have to start all over again and obviously tie your rig accordingly. Okay, once you've neatened that up around the top, I'm going to focus on the bottom here. Try and get rid of this line for you. Now I don't know if you can see this, you've got these flaps on the end. Now obviously these aren't too great when you're trying to make it as aerodynamic as possible, especially if you're fishing at range. You really want something as aerodynamic as you can, just so you can hit that range. All I'm going to do, again, is just using my knuckle, or you can tap it down on the palm of your hand, is really pinch them corners in, so you're left with an excess flap like this. Okay. Once it's as tight as you'd like it, just lick your finger on the underside and fold it down. Okay. Hold it for a couple of seconds or so, and it will go like so. Okay. Same with the other corner. This is going to be a bit tighter, this corner, because obviously you've already packed it one side. So try and pack it down as much as you can. I'm happy with that. Again, lick your finger on the underside, tight, hold it tight round, and there we have it. PVA solid bag, ready to cast out. Hopefully should have some good effects on this lake. Nice one.
Great aerodynamic PVA bag. And we've just seen a fish jump out in front of me. I'm going to try now the cast and get on it first time. Let's have a go. Just where the fish was. Nice one.
Really? Right, well it's day 3 now. We've had nothing. Well, we're not alone because nobody else has either.
It's everyone else has left the lake now. People who fish it quite often say it's off, it's not fishing, so they've just left. We're obviously sticking out for the rest of the week. You might hear in a minute, it's absolutely thundering and so much rain this week, it's been ridiculous.
Yeah, the 1 week we choose to come fishing and get some film of that for you guys, and all it does is piss down. So it's not ideal.
But we're determined to get some out. We're going to try something different, maybe with some lunch and meat out, some just single bright hook baits. Maybe they're shying off the bait, who knows. We're just going to try something different, keep doing different stuff.
I've got one out on a zig at the moment, only about 2 foot zig. With one of their little super buoyant 8mm, because we've been using the, what are they, 15s? Yeah. We've been using the 15mm bottom baits and they're just not having any of it. So we're thinking maybe it's the smaller hook baits that are going to do it for us. So I've put one out, 2 foot zig. I'll show you how I tied that up, very simple rig. And I've also just put one out in a solid bag with spicy pepperami, tipped again, but with a pink super buoyant 8mm hook bait from Mistral.
We just want to, even if we don't catch, we want to come back saying that we tried absolutely everything. And that's what we're doing now. We're going to be active, try and get a fish on the bank. Weather's just weird and the fish just don't seem interested. Last night they've been a lovely show. We've seen 20s crash out in front of us all night long. But the guy around the corner was fishing perfectly, we were positioned perfectly, but absolutely nothing. He's gone this morning to a big pit that he's a member of, and we're just going to stick it out for the rest of the week. So hopefully we'll see you soon. We're about to show you some stuff, some rigs that we're tying and that, so you can see what we're doing.
I'm going to show you a solid Pva bag, just how to tie them. Very simple. Very simple. All I'm doing is filling them up with the Mistral stick mix. I say we've tried everything. I've had real corn out, I've had the Enterprise artificial corn, number of colours. I've tried purple, I've tried yellow, I've tried orange, and I've left them out for at least 5 hours a time. Again, we've tried the rose hips from Mistral, we've tried the vampire squid, we've tried no luck, we've tried the FMs, we've tried the FM glugs, we've tried the rose hip sprays,
hemp,
you name it, hemp, the lot. It's all been tried. So now the spicy pepperami's out there. Hopefully that should do something. If not, we can't say we haven't tried. The sun comes out in bright spells and all of a sudden the cloud will come along. Bang comes the rain. Sat in the bivvy, camped up for a couple of hours till it stops. And that's about it. We can't see any bubbles, no fish are jumping. We haven't even seen any shows today. Yeah. But it's not just this lake, it's the whole complex.
I fished, we're on Specimen Lake 1. Especially Lake 2 has got the biggest fish, up to 38 £, but a fish hasn't come out of that for nearly 2 weeks now. So the whole complex seems to be really, really slow. There's guys on the course lakes down the end there and they're not having anything. I just pop down when I shower. And yeah, it's a bit slow. We'll update you in a minute with the rigs we're doing, but just want to keep you knowing that we're trying our hardest and hopefully we'll have a fish for you soon.
Yeah, we know that a lot of bait, or not too much bait, but a considerable amount of bait has gone into this lake over the weekend. So we're hoping that, because we haven't been putting too much in, I'd say we've probably put, a kilo over at all of our rigs, so quarter kilo on each spot, which is nothing really in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, we're hoping that they've finished hoovering that up and they're going to move on to our baits now, but stay tuned and hopefully we should have something to show you soon, as always.
Yeah, okay.
Nice one.
Nice one.
Is we're going to get on the zigs, so I'm going to show you what I've done. All I've got is a simple lead clip arrangement, as I do with all my bottom baits, and all I've done is I've used the NXT Zig Flow by Nash here, quality floating line built for just this job. All I've done, I don't know if you can see there, if the cameraman will zoom in, is all I've got there is a size 10 wide gape, I believe, from Corda. Just tied a really short hair, whipped it 5 or 6 times up to the point, whipped it back down through the back of the eye, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some of the Enterprise stuff on. We've tried everything here, so we've tried a mixture of Enterprise artificial corn with a number of other items, i.e. the Mistral boilies, etc. However, now, just while it's hot and we're getting on the zigs, just going to get straight and just put artificial corn on both. Usually I would only try something like the yellow corn, occasionally the orange and the pinks, but as nothing's happening, I thought why not, we'll try something different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 grain of the purple corn on and 1 grain of the brighter, more fluorescent yellow corn on. I'm just going to slot it straight onto here and cast it straight out, and let's hope it catches us some fish.
Sun's out, let's get on the zigs.
as you know, me and Matt are trying to get on the zigs now, doing anything different we can to get a fish. Just going to show you up a little sloppy spot mix that we're going to put out over the mix. Start with, base ingredient for most things with us is hemp. Already got about 1/4 to 1/2 kilo of hemp sitting in the bucket. Next thing, I'm using Mistral's natural pellets. The whole aim of this mix is to get fish moving through the water column. So we want bait sitting at every single place, so right from the ground up. Pellets are going to mostly sit on the bottom. The hemp that we've got does float a bit, we've seen that this week while we've been here. So that's in there. Next thing, staple to any sloppy spot mix, a bit of rice pudding. Just Tesco's own brand, doesn't matter where you get it from. Put a whole tin of this in, if it comes out. Oh, there you go, it's going to be a finger job, I think. Oh, look at that, lovely. Not the nicest of ingredients, but it really does the job. You can see on my hands how sticky that is already. Next thing, tuna flakes. Tuna will actually float in the water, it won't always sit in the bottom. If you ever just throw some at the edge and watch what happens, it sinks up and down quite a lot. We all know what a good attractor tuna can be, so I'm going to put about half this tin in. And the oil as well. Mix this in. Really get it spread out. Then we're going to go with dog biscuits. Now I've thrown some of these in already, and some float, but actually a few of these went down as well. So again, get a good thing there, moving bait throughout the water column. A couple of handfuls in there, because we do want some bait on top of the water. Our zigs we're fishing about probably 3/4 depth, 4/5 depth. Lovely. And then the final ingredient is going to be some FM juice, Mistral. Little lush in there. Give it some great flavour. I love the FM flavour. I really think it does a good job. So there we go. That's all mixed up. If you take a look at that, that's going to be going out over our spod mix, clouding up the water and really putting food items in all the water column. Nice one.
And there we go. Day 5, we changed lakes, we're on Course Lake now. This beautiful 17-pound common came out. A bit taken aback, to be honest, we've been waiting a while for this. This came out on Mistral Rosehip, tipped with Enterprise artificial yellow corn, the buoyant type, just on a short rig, which I'll show you in a moment. Can't describe how happy I am right now. Look at that beautiful, beautiful common. We're going to slip him back in and hope we have some more. Nice one. What, 20 minutes later, this one came out on the FM, tipped with an Enterprise fake maggot. So the FM's a new range from Mistral this year. I haven't bothered weighing it, probably about 8-9 pounds, something like that. Really nice fish. Got a bit of damage to the mouth, so we're going to get some carp care kit on that. But otherwise, nice one.
Waited a couple of days, and it comes. A nice long, lean common, 10 pound 6 ounce. Caught on the vampire squid from Mistral.
I think that's my third now. So we've been over here about 3 hours or so, something like that. Now this beautiful common, it's got an element of koi in him. I don't know if you can see there, just on the top of his head. Seems to be quite distinctive. Certainly can be a beautiful one when he's older. This was nailed on the rosehip boilie over a bed of the rosehip pellets, just in a PVA mesh bag, which we'll show you how to do in a while. Really happy with this. I don't think we're going to get much sleep tonight. Hope I haven't jinxed it then, but yeah, nice one.
Now just getting dark. About 8 or 9 pounds. Mirror of Matt's carp earlier. Common koi mix. Caught on double Enterprise corn. Glugged and purple this one was. Over a bed of rosehip pellets. Really tearing this lake apart. Bring good quality ingredients to this sort of lake, you're going to do well. Okay.
Lovely nice 9 pound mirror. Really distinctive scales on there. Really nice fight. Nailed again on the Mistral rosehip. Tipped with the Enterprise corn, this time the purple corn. Coming with a variety of flavours, really, really happy. So it's 1 in the morning now. This is fish number 4, I believe, for me. Hopefully we should have some more in the night. Nice one.
Right, well there we go. 11 pounds, 2 ounces. Fell to the FM boilie this one, dipped in the FM glug. Really livened up tonight, hoping for a few more. Nice one. There we go. Another lovely comment, a 10 pound 8 ounce. Once again to the FM boilies. It's turned into a good night now. I might put one more rods in, just leave one out. Try and get some sort of sleep. It's about 3 in the morning. Fish coming thick and fast though.
First one in the morning.
Nice one.
Packing up in a couple of hours. This one fell again, so the rose hit boil. It seems to be doing a trick on here over a bed of rose bed pellets just in a PVA bag. Really impressed with how we've caught these last day. Certainly made up for the 4 days we blanked. Nice
Come
one.
to the end of our session now, and last night in about 14 hours we had 11 fish between us, so the move was definitely a right one.
What was it, between £6 and 17 I think we had
Yeah,
in the
that's
end?
about right. If you want more information on Tanyard Fisheries, then please check out the link below. If you want to see more about Mistral baits or Enterprise tackle, see the links below in the description as well. If you like what you saw with us, then please subscribe in the box up there, or follow us on Twitter at Apex Angling as well, link in the description. We'll see you soon.
Nice one.